Good morning. Today's Wednesday. Today I woke up. I said I'm going to be happy. I don't care what's going on around me. I'm going to embrace the notion of happiness today. And I would like everyone that's following me on social media to do the same. Forgive that person that hurt you the most. Let that pain go. Take the initiative on your business. If you have to change something like stop smoking or anything of that nature, do it. Today's the day. Don't wait for tomorrow. Do it today. All right? Yay! Happy Wednesday!
On the morning of April 13th, 2022, a call for help went out in North Lauderdale, Florida. Two people, a mother and her teenage daughter, had been found outside their home. Both were gone before help could arrive. The person police believed was responsible? Someone they once trusted. Someone who had been ordered by the courts to stay away. And the part that still shakes the community to this day? It happened in broad daylight, while they were on their way to school. This wasn't a random act. This was targeted, personal. And it left family members, friends, and an entire neighborhood asking the same haunting question. How could this happen when she did everything right? Before we begin, welcome to Wednesday Crime Gist, where we tell the real stories that reveal the truth behind the headlines, the stories that stay with you long after the news cycle ends. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the facts, the moments, and the lessons we can't afford to ignore. Jennifer Bellony was 32 years old, a mother of 3. To her children, she was more than just a parent. She was their shield, their comfort, the person who held their small world together when everything else felt uncertain. Life had not been easy for her. She had walked away from a marriage that had turned controlling and unsafe, determined to protect herself and her children. She had found the strength to start over, even when it meant long hours and sleepless nights. She worked more than one job, making sure there was food on the table, school supplies in their bags, and some measure of normal life for her kids. Her eldest daughter, Anastasia, was 15. Everyone called her Nana. She had the kind of smile that made people feel lighter. She loved spending time with her friends, posting little updates online about her day and talking about the future. She dreamed of traveling, of having a career she was proud of, and of making her mother proud in return. Jennifer and Nana were close in a way that only a mother and daughter who have been through hard times together can be. They were teammates. They had faced fear and uncertainty side by side, and they leaned on each other through it all. But there was something in Jennifer's life she could never fully escape. Her ex-husband, Angland. The marriage had ended years earlier, and Jennifer had taken legal steps to keep him away. In 2018, she was granted a restraining order after documenting a history of controlling and aggressive behavior. She believed, as many people do, that this court order would be enough to keep her and her children safe. Still, there were moments when she felt a quiet tension in her day-to-day life. People close to her said she never completely let her guard down. The restraining order was there, but so was the worry. On April 13, 2022, it was a Wednesday morning in North Lauderdale. The air was warm, the streets calm. Neighbors were going about their routines, walking dogs, heading to work, sending kids to school. Jennifer and Nana stepped out for their usual walk. It was something they had done many times before from their home on Tam O'Shanter Boulevard, making their way toward school, chatting as they went. There was nothing unusual about the start of the day. No warning that anything was different. But just beyond the quiet of that morning, someone was there, waiting. And in the next moments, the safety Jennifer had fought so hard to create for her family would shatter forever. When Jennifer first met Angland, things didn't seem dangerous. In the early days, there were moments of charm, moments where he seemed like the kind of person who could be a partner and a father. He could make people laugh, and he knew how to say the right things. For a while, Jennifer believed that together they could build a family and a future. But as time went on, something shifted. What started as small bursts of frustration became constant tension. Arguments grew sharper, and Andre's temper became harder to control. There were times when his words cut deep, leaving marks that couldn't be seen but were felt every day. Jennifer tried to keep the peace for the sake of her children, but the atmosphere in their home was changing. Family members and friends later told reporters that Andre's behavior had become unpredictable and that Jennifer seemed increasingly worried for her safety. By 2018, the situation had reached a breaking point. Jennifer decided she could no longer live in fear, not for herself and not for her children. She filed for and was granted a restraining order against Andre, a legal step meant to keep him away from her home, her workplace, and her children's school. According to Broward County court records, the order was put in place after documented incidents of controlling and aggressive behavior. It was a brave move but also a complicated one. Restraining orders are meant to protect, but they are not a physical barrier. Jennifer knew this. Still, she had faith that by taking legal action, she was giving her family the best possible chance to move forward without fear. After leaving the marriage, Jennifer worked tirelessly to rebuild her life. She moved forward with quiet determination, balancing jobs to make ends meet and ensuring her children still had moments of joy: birthday cakes, family outings, and the kind of stability that children remember long after hard times have passed. Nana saw all of it. She watched her mother put in long hours and still find time to help with homework. She saw her mom protect her younger brothers from things they didn't need to understand yet. And she understood, even at 15, that her mother was carrying a heavy weight. But Andre wasn't willing to let go. There were times he would try to contact the children despite the court order. His appearances were not predictable, and that was the problem. You never knew when or where it might happen. Even though the law was supposed to keep him away, there were moments when he managed to step back into their lives without warning. The tension this caused was real. Those close to Jennifer said that even when she was smiling, there was a shadow in her expression, a look that told you she was always aware of the possibility that he might show up again. Neighbors in North Lauderdale knew Jennifer as someone strong and resilient. She was polite, hardworking, and clearly devoted to her children. But they also noticed something else: a quiet edge in the way she looked over her shoulder, the way she checked her surroundings before heading out. It was the kind of unspoken worry you only develop when you've lived with the knowledge that someone who once shared your home could also be the source of your deepest fear. The morning of April 13, 2022, started quietly in North Lauderdale. It was just after 9 a.m., and the sun was already warm on the sidewalks of Tam O'Shanter Boulevard. Jennifer and Nana stepped out together, just as they had done so many times before. They walked side by side, talking about the school day ahead. Neighbors later told reporters they looked relaxed, a mother and daughter sharing a simple, everyday moment. Then, without warning, he was there. Andre Angland, Jennifer's former husband, Nana's father. The man a Broward County judge had ordered to stay away from them. Court records confirmed that a restraining order had been in place for years, meant to create a legal boundary he could not cross. But that morning, that boundary was gone in an instant. Witnesses said Andre appeared suddenly on the sidewalk ahead. There was no long conversation, no warning that the situation was about to turn. Whatever words were exchanged, they didn't last long. Within seconds, everything changed. Neighbors heard a commotion, voices raised, the sound of panic breaking into the stillness of the morning. Someone called 911 right away. Others watched from a distance, unsure what they were seeing at first, but knowing it was bad. Broward Sheriff's deputies arrived quickly, but the scene was already irreversible. Jennifer Bellony and her daughter Anastasia were gone before help could reach them. In a neighborhood known for its calm, where children played outside and residents greeted one another by name, the shock was immediate. People stepped out of their homes in disbelief, unable to understand how something so devastating could happen in the middle of a sunny morning, in plain view of the street. Parents held their own children closer that day. Neighbors gathered in small groups, speaking in hushed voices, replaying the moment in their minds. The safety they thought they had was gone, replaced by a question no one could yet answer. How could this happen here? By the time Broward Sheriff's deputies confirmed what had happened on Tam O'Shanter Boulevard, the suspect was already gone. Authorities identified him as Andre Odin Angland, 34 years old. Jennifer's former husband, Nana's father. The man bound by a court order to stay away. Sheriff's deputies launched a full-scale search that morning. Patrol cars and unmarked vehicles moved through the neighborhoods of North Lauderdale. Officers checked streets, parks, and commercial areas. Investigators began speaking with neighbors, trying to piece together a timeline. They asked what people had seen, where Andre might have gone, who he might have contacted. Others reviewed the details of the restraining order, hoping it might offer clues about his usual patterns, places he had been told to avoid, people he was forbidden to approach. The urgency was real. For law enforcement, Andre wasn't just a suspect. He was someone who had already shown he was willing to cross legal boundaries. No one could say for certain what he might do next. As the hours turned into days, the search continued. Tips came in from residents who thought they had seen him. Deputies followed up on every lead. Still, he remained out of sight. Then came the twist no one expected. Several days later, Andre was found inside a store. He was no longer alive. Authorities confirmed it was a self-inflicted death. With that single discovery, the manhunt ended, but the questions did not. Why had he done this? What was his state of mind in those final moments? And the question that cut deepest: could this have been stopped before April 13th ever happened? For Jennifer's family and friends, the news of Andre's death brought no comfort. It meant there would be no trial, no courtroom testimony, no chance to hear him answer for what had happened. The grief in the community deepened. Many were not only mourning Jennifer and Nana, but also feeling the weight of something larger, a system that they believed had failed to protect them. People close to Jennifer spoke of their heartbreak and their anger. She had followed the rules. She had gone to court. She had trusted that a restraining order would be enough. And yet, here they were, left with a loss that could never be repaired and trust in the system that was shattered beyond repair. A restraining order is meant to be a legal shield. It's a court-issued order that tells someone to stay away, to have no contact, to respect a boundary set for safety. For many people facing threats or harassment, it can be the first step toward rebuilding a life free from fear. But experts and victim advocates have long acknowledged something difficult. A restraining order is not a physical wall. It is only as strong as the systems and enforcement behind it. In Jennifer's case, the order had been in place for years. It was clear, it was legal, and it was supposed to give her a layer of protection. Yet, it did not stop Andre from approaching her and Nana on that April morning. Domestic violence specialists say that high-risk offenders, people with a history of repeated threats or aggressive behavior, need more than just a paper order to prevent harm. They call for stronger monitoring, including closer tracking of those who have already broken the rules, and faster police alerts if a victim reports any contact. Some suggest the use of electronic monitoring devices for offenders in serious cases, giving authorities the ability to know when someone is near a restricted location. Others point to the need for more community-based support, people trained to check in regularly with victims, making sure they have both safety planning and emotional help. Advocates also stress the importance of education, not just for those at risk but for entire communities. Knowing the warning signs of escalating behavior, understanding how to safely report it, and being aware of local resources can make a difference in preventing tragedy. Domestic violence remains one of the most silent and underreported problems in many communities. Victims often feel alone. They may fear that speaking up will make things worse. They may doubt that help will arrive in time. And far too often they are forced to carry that fear in silence. Jennifer and Anastasia's story shows the high cost of gaps in protection. It is a reminder that real safety must be more than a legal document. It must be a network of action, awareness, and immediate response. If you are listening to this and you believe in protecting lives like theirs, remember this: protection must be more than a piece of paper. We share these stories not to dwell on the tragedy, but to push for change. If you believe these lives matter, share this story. And if you or someone you know is in danger, please reach out. You are not alone. And if you believe stories like this need to be told, real, honest stories that make people stop and think, then please like this video. Subscribe to this channel for more powerful stories that matter. Your voice can make a difference. Your share could save a life. And your support keeps these stories alive. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay aware, and never ignore the signs.